Anthropic just dropped Claude Opus 4.6 new model agent teams better long context performance after running it daily for 2 days across content creation, agent builds, and even product building. Here is my honest take on what is actually useful and what is hype. If you're new here, I am June. I run my own AI agency and building SaaS product. I replace a team with AI agents that share exact systems so you can do the same thing as a founder. Subscribe and check our newsletter and community link in the description before we get into it. Let me skip the unimportant things and tell you the three things that matter in this Opus 4.6. First thing is much better at following instructions in long threads. It doesn't get lost in the middle of it, and many times it follows very well. It keeps the original system prompts or constraints I gave them. It tends to gather more context before acting, especially in code. It reads more, plan more, even before touching the files. Three, it is more persistent. When it hits an error, it does not stop and ask you what to do. It tries a different approach, checks the output, adjusts, and retries. I love that approach. And there is a headline feature, agent teams in code. I'll break this down in another section. But here's the gist. You can now spin up multiple Claude instances that coordinate with each other on a shared list. Each one has its own context window and they message each other directly instead of reporting to a single manager agent. It's a different architecture from sub-agent and it might give you different results. So without further ado, let me give you an example. So the first example is you can set up a Claude project loaded with 3 documentations. First, your content pillars, and you can set up the content pillars mapped to each product or service you're selling with hooks, points, post angles, pre-written for each one. And second one here is viral example from others. You can gather some viral example from others on LinkedIn or different ones. And third, I added like a quick rundown for all of my products I am selling for giving the best value. And then if I'm going back to our ClickUp, here is we share the 3 prompts that you can use on your Claude project. And here you can literally copy and paste and share, copy and paste and instructions here. Then what you need to do here as instructed here, paste the prompt as a system instruction in Claude, follow with your context, write a post about topic X, niches Y. Here is my proof of point. For us, we have a system where we can pull all the trending data from our niche and communities like here, like YouTube, Reddit, X, Perplexity, and even LinkedIn, and we gather and we save everything in one of our data sources. So we have that and we can copy and paste some of the viral posts and we can add a new angle, but with our tone of voice and our content pillar and a quick rundown. So that is the way we create a one. And what will be a good example? Write a viral post about about Opus 4.6 and for AI passionate. Here is our YouTube scripts. Because we have our YouTube scripts and we can copy and paste that into here for extra context. And I enable extended thinking. And if I write it here, boom, based on our YouTube scripts, it just generated one viral LinkedIn post that can have potential because it's all based on the viral examples. So it follows all the structures and the style, especially for hooks and CTA and the structure. And it includes all the context we are trying to convey in this video, like YouTube scripts. Could you be a bit more concise and shorter? And if I'm examining a little bit more, that's all the important things. But here, this part is coming from our main products. And this part, we always added like the CTA for more engagement. So it actually includes everything. But here's the better one here. Now we have this one, and you can even construct could you write 5 tweets out of this? Then boom, like within a few minutes, you get LinkedIn and you get the tweets. So you can maximize your distribution for your content. As written in this documentation, with this engine, this prompt baked into our AI system behind the scene, we've generated more than 1 million impressions on LinkedIn. And if you see here, it's almost 2,000% increase. And of course, we got more leads and converted customers. So I highly recommend you try these. And we have more examples for the content, like lead magnet generator and one DM sequence writer, which you can use for your DM on LinkedIn when you outreach people. The first message is so important. So you always want to ace and perfect those first DMs in sequences. So we are having all of that, and we're going to share on this one in our community. So make sure you're in our community here. We're sharing a lot for free. So that was the number one use case, and you can try other 2 examples. So next one is sub-agent versus agent team. So Code had previously sub-agents. One main agent here, the difference is one main agent delegate task, each sub-agent running the main agent's context window does its job, reports back. The main agent manages everything. It works for focused tasks where only results matter. On the other hand, right now, the new agent teams are different architecture. Each teammate gets its own independent context window, and they do not report back to central manager all the time. They can manage each other directly. They coordinate through a shared list with self-organization. They can run in parallel. The use cases are different. The official document said it's best for sub-agents are best for focused tasks where only the last results matters, while agent teams are good for complex works requiring discussion and collaborations. So for code refactoring, or if you have a multi-layer like a front end, back end, and manager and team lead, that will be a perfect use case for agent teams. But obviously, the trade-off will be a cost. Each teammate is a separate Claude instance, more tokens, meaning that higher bills potentially. But if you use just Claude Code with the Pro or Max, I don't think there will be huge issues for that. Before we move on the code with the terminal, I want to shed a light on context rot. So context rot is where the performance of AI degrades as conversation exceed a certain number of tokens. That's why a lot of people think like AI is hard to rely. But from this experimentation, they said long context retriever is still working very well with this new Opus 4.6 compared to even the relatively newer models like Sonnet 4.5. So that's promising. So to enable agent teams, first thing is you have to enable Claude Code Experimental Agent Team 1 in the settings. So I have here, and I already updated settings, and you can copy and paste here, and then say, save this in our Claude settings.json, and it worked. So from there, what you can do here is, if you see here, they said start your first agent team, but I created my own version. So here was my own version. So I have Claude agent team, and it will have team lead, and team lead will act as PM, architect, understand the broader picture of this code base, and backend app will work on require API, database changes, schema, and front end will work on UI components, and QA, I call it skeptic, will review the code base that was generated from backend team or front end team. So we have these in here. I added also roles like backend and front end team must submit a written plan for approval by team lead, and QA skeptic will never write production code. They only review, and then all teammates must keep Claude.amd updated with their plans, decisions, and open questions so I can quickly understand the state of the project. So that was the way I did it here. Then if I'm going up a little bit here, I already played a lot. And as you can see, I asked to generate the admin panel. So admin panel, it include the new AI models like OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, and even OpenRouter. And from there, I started using Agent Team. And once we have that, like like I'm showing you, I added Claude Code like this, and it was added settings here. And now I said in my AI CMO platform, example is different modules turn on different clients. Some clients will have only SEO model. Some people will have all of stuff we are offering, and we need a way to turn on and off as admin. And that was this like one line. And I'm going through a little bit here, and like two task agent finished. They said set up the module tables. They update the Claude.md, like a QA review findings here. RLS policy, default module strategy. New clients get basic tier modules enabled by default. That's great. With the open questions, I can move to the next actions. So it was generated admin module, UI generated, and module aware sidebar was updated, meaning that here, if I'm in, this was the way I can log in as admin. And in this admin panel, and by the way, this was created by One Shot, and it has all like modules we have, SEO Suite, HN, competitor monitoring, all of them. And I can toggle on and off. And if I toggle on and off, now I can see on the client side, client can see only modules that were enabled for them. So like this, it shows also current mapping, all of them. Like I told you, it was all generated by One Shot. So I was quite impressed. But again, some of the parts you still need, it still requires manual review. So it was impressive, but I still think you need to go through some manual reviews to make sure everything is working as expected. So that was the Claude Code part. Here is my honest verdict. For content creation in Claude Desktop, Opus 4.6 was a meaningful upgrade to me. The instruction following over a long conversation solves the biggest pain point I had. If you set a proper project with your voice, your data, and your examples, the output is consistently production ready. That was not the case with the previous models past 20 messages. And for agent teams in code, this was generally new capability, not a wrapper on existing features, a different coordination architecture that enables work that was not practical before. That was very impressive, and I like to continue using it to see more use cases. And I put together a free breakdown of that Claude project setup I use it for all of my brands, all of my content on social media. And I will also share how you can set up the code in our community. Please join. This is a free community and you can learn a lot as a founder. If this was useful, subscribe to our channel, newsletter, and join our community. I break down every AI system every week for founders who want to stay lean, and move fast. Stay tuned.